morning. This morning we're going for a walk from Paphos harbour and the fort, the castle behind us. And we're going to go for a walk around Lighthouse Beach, so if you'd like to join us, please feel free.
Welcome to Travels with the Russells. We invite you to join us on our adventures as we explore different countries, their cultures, sites, and significant historic and religious monuments.
We invite you to please like and subscribe to our channel, Travels with the Russells.
And let's set off on our walk. It's March the 7th, and in Cyprus it's a bank holiday. It's a Monday. It's a bank holiday, it's Green Monday. In some countries it's called Clean Monday, and effectively it's the first day of Lent in the Christian calendar. So this is the lead up to Easter. It's the 40 days of Lent, and generally here people give up alcohol, or the Cypriots or the Christians give up alcohol, give up meat, some dairy. Go for our little walk. It's quite busy on here because it is a bank holiday. The tradition is in Cyprus to fly kites on Green Monday. So it's only 11 o'clock in the morning. Quite often families will get together, have picnics, etc., depending on the weather. The weather today is, as you can see, it's quite bright, but it is breezy, which is perfect for flying kites. So families will get together and the children will fly kites. And probably a lot of that will happen in the afternoons. On our right here is the big Archaeological Sites in Paphos. So there's the amphitheatre and audience, the mosaics, and the entrance is down in the harbour. It's a few euros to go in and go around. These kind of staging posts, when people get married, they come down here and have the photographs taken against the sea. And these little boxes that you see everywhere used to have seats in them, and in the summertime when it's very hot, it provides some shade. So you can have a sit down in the shade, or you could until somebody destroyed the seats. The strange little objects that you keep seeing, like this flower, is all part of the culture trail in Paphos of artworks. If you've seen any other of my vlogs, you'll know my opinion on some of the artworks. Well, in fact, on the majority of the artworks that they've commissioned and spent millions on, as rusty piles of junk. path around here was constructed about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. It used to be just kind of a dirt trail, around to Lighthouse Beach. But again, I think a lot of EU money was spent on developing a coastal path. In theory, there should be a coastal path from Paphos to Coral Bay, which is quite a walk. About 18 kilometres, 10 or 12 miles. I've never walked it myself. Archaeological site is a very big site. What you might be able to see there in the distance is the Lighthouse, which is surprisingly inland. Not actually out on the pinnacle anywhere. And again, what we have in Cyprus is several shipwrecks. Boats that have crashed into the rocks. The water's not quite deep enough for them to sink, so they just get abandoned, emptied of all their diesel and heavy fuel oils, and then left to rust. There's often talks of towing these, getting them off the rocks and towing them out to sea a few hundred meters and then sinking them to make artificial reefs for the fish, because Paphos is very popular with divers, which is a great idea, but it never seems to get done. But whether it's the lack of money or the lack of will from people in charge, the authorities. Oh, let's have another look at, you see, I don't know if I'm being harsh with the modern art, but when I say they're just rusty pieces of junk, am I wrong? Am I wrong? It's just completely rusty. I don't know what it represents, I don't know what it means. It looks like a giant saw. And you go, well, if the culture of forests or something here, well, I don't see it. I don't get it. I'm sure as we walk down this coastal path we'll see more examples of this art installations. And you'll be the judge whether it's just a pile of rusty metal. Again, possibly a better view of the lighthouse there. Distance can see if you can see it, there's a shipwreck over there, crashed into the rocks and just left. Generally nobody gets hurt or injured on these shipwrecks because they're crashing pretty much into the island, so they can jump off, you virtually jump off the shipwrecks onto the land. It is the Mediterranean, and the Mediterranean, if you've ever sailed or been on a cruise on the Med, Though sometimes can be very, very rough, and a storm can appear very quickly. Even though the Mediterranean is a relatively shallow sea, it does have huge storms on it. I'm rather surprised because with it being Green Monday and it's the Kite Flying day, every shop sells kites, every supermarket sells kites, and normally there would be on here at the kind of the pinnacle of the coast walk would be family after family flying kites. Maybe they're all going to come out this afternoon. I can see there's a kid down here with a kite. And there is a breeze, so I'm sure his kite flying efforts will be rewarded. So far the only person trying to fly a kite on Green Monday. Coming around the headland here in a moment, and we have a large beach. Now the weather the last week or two has been particularly bad. There's been a lot of storms, a lot of rain. Of course we need the rain. The area, if you were back here in August, then this greenery would be gone. It would be parched earth. Amazingly a few weeds would survive in the trees, but most of the plants will have gone. Springtime is often the best time to visit, spring and autumn. If you're thinking of visiting Cyprus, my recommend would be April, May, early June, September, October, November.
Bar is open 24 hours. Yeah.
Why I recommend those months is it's not too hot. Obviously, as you go into June, it can get very hot, but I wouldn't recommend July and August unless all you want to do is lay in the blazing sun and play in the pool. Everything becomes an incredible effort. It's just so hot. I'm saying pretty relentless. One thing that makes me laugh is when people get married in August and the poor bride's there with a full wedding gown on, and the men are all there in their suits, and it's hitting 45 degrees, and they are stood in a beautiful area overlooking the beach with the sun beating down on them. Quite often the men's jackets are gone in a few minutes. People are starting to feel faint. Now let's get back into the hotels for the air conditioning. Past the headland here, and down in front of us is a large beach bar restaurant and a beach which may or may not be covered in seaweed due to the storms recently. And what you've got there is the Paphos coastline leading down to Coral Bay. Oh, somebody else with a kite here. So, pleasant enough walk from Paphos Harbour, round the headland, from the harbour, down towards the Lighthouse, which is there now, and which is leading down to what we call Lighthouse Beach, and it is a beach. And by the look at it, a very busy beach this morning. They did?
Down the barbecue.
They did, yeah. So, what is often funny is how do you spot the tourists from the locals when they're walking around before you even get near to them? Well, shorts and t-shirts in February and March, any time of the year really, you'll see tourists in shorts and t-shirts, and you'll see the locals with cardigans and pullovers and coats. Although it's warm to a tourist, it's cold to somebody who kind of lives through 40 odd degrees throughout the summer, and even in other times of the year it can easily be in the 30s And we're talking about shade temperatures here. We're not talking about in the sun temperatures. In the sun, in the summer, you can touch surfaces and you will burn yourself. Now, what you can't, Julie just said there's loads of kites down there, and there's lots. But of course, you probably won't be able to see them. But they're just little dots in the sky. But people have obviously come down to the beach to fly the kites today. Not bothering with the headland. A few years ago you could drive down what was a dirt track, which is in fact that behind this fence, which is in the archaeological sites now. You could drive down these, park, stroke abandon your vehicle anywhere around the headland. But that practice has largely been stopped. So here we go, the Green Monday Kite Flying. Some are very, very high up. Yeah, it's all the way down to Coral Bay now. You can see people out there flying kites. Easter time in Cyprus, it's Greek Orthodox Christianity, so often the Cypriot Easter and the rest of Europe, the UK Easter should I say, occur on different dates. I don't know why, something to do with the cycles of the moon and when they start the count, but it can be a week earlier or a week later or 2 weeks later that they celebrate Easter. And so this is the start of Lent, 40 days of giving something up for Lent. Yeah, it's very busy down here. All right, I'm going to. Oh, there's a priest on the beach down there. And a lot of kites. I can see them all now. Kites all over the place. It's nice that they keep family traditions like this, family picnics. Families go out flying kites, it's lovely. Cyprus is a very family orientated place to visit. They love kids, they enjoy their families, they're extremely hospitable. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this video up here, down on Lighthouse Beach. There is a lot of seaweed around, but there is also a lot of people out with their kites. Busy place. Right, well thanks for joining me if you have done. Hope you enjoyed the walk. Hoping it to out too much rubbish. See you next time.